Hello, and welcome to the Den of the Monster Ox. Come take a seat round the fire while we discuss Oxenfree, which actually happens to be the first game I bought specifically for the story review series. If you have a game that you'd like to add to my list, let me know either in the comments or in my Discord. Link is in the description. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you'll see when my next story review comes out here in a couple weeks. For now, though, let's discuss Oxenfree. Oxenfree is a supernatural thriller about a group of friends who unwittingly open a ghostly rift. You are Alex, and you've just brought your new stepbrother Jonas to an overnight island party gone horribly wrong. So for those who don't want spoilers but want my overall thoughts, here we go. Oxenfree is built like a choose-your-own-adventure story. Very well paced and thought out adventure. The protagonists feel genuine, but are also very flexible in how they turn out. The antagonists I couldn't quite understand as well as I would have liked, but were still creepy and were otherwise written into the story very well. Slow and steady wins the race is the best way to explain the use of the environment in the story. Things were very slowly but steadily added, and that kept it fun and kept me invested. Overall, I would say that the game is definitely worth a purchase, and I'm looking forward to another playthrough of the game myself. Now, that is it for my spoiler-free version. If you want to go into the game completely blind, here is your time to tap out. For everyone else, let's get into it. Let's start out with discussing the choose-your-own-adventure-esque storyline. As our protagonist goes around with our cast of characters, there are a lot of conversations, and you, the player, get to choose what our protagonist says. These choices build up over the course of the game and determine how our cast of characters interact with each other as each relationship develops. This then culminates into a fun inclusion in the epilogue, where as the narrator describes the lives each of the characters went off to live, we are shown a series of pie charts, each pie chart showing which ending we got for that character and what percentage of the players got that ending. This made me want to go back and see what some of the other endings were. Now, I should briefly mention how the pacing of the game is. I finished this game in just under 4 hours, so it is a relatively short game for the ground that it covers. In fact, I would say that it was rushed if it were not for a couple factors. First is that this isn't the first time our characters have been to this small island. They know where everything is, so it would make sense that they don't have to go around exploring or get lost into the various areas. Second is that since it is a small island, again, it also makes sense that all the events could potentially happen in a single night. There isn't much area to travel. So I think the pacing actually works very well. Overall, solid 5 out of 5. Now that we've set the stage for our characters, let's bring the cast out on stage. Let's start with the character we control, Alex. Alex is a fun lead character and is the center of the group. Being this in the center, your conversation choices will greatly impact everyone else, to the point of either bringing everyone together to be a great group of friends, or to the point of driving everyone apart. Next, we have Alex's friend, Reg. He is a pretty typical teenage guy that has a crush on our next character, Nona. Nona is a bit soft-spoken throughout the game, but her personality does fit in well with the group. Next, we have Clarissa and Jonas. These two characters drive Alex's story and provide an interesting tension in the group. Clarissa is friends with the rest of the group, but has a hard time with Alex. This is because Clarissa was actually the girlfriend of Alex's older brother, who died in an accident before the events of the game, and Clarissa blames Alex for it. Then we have Jonas, who is Alex's new stepbrother. Will he be accepted by Alex and her friends, or will he be kept at a distance? Now, through all of the conversations in the game, the voice actors for the entire cast did an amazing job bringing these relationships alive. Every awkward conversation feels, well, awkward, never forced. And every heartfelt plea feels genuine. Just overall, a solid cast of characters. So, overall, 4 out of 5. Now, I do need to make a concession for our antagonists. I did miss some items hidden around the island that this game takes place in. These messages might have contained key pieces of context that would have helped me understand our antagonist better. So here is what I know and my thoughts within that limited context. Basically, our protagonists accidentally open a rift on the island. On the other side of the rift are the survivors, I guess if you can call them that, of a tragic military accident. These ghosts then slowly try to take over the bodies of your crew so they can come back to our reality. And that's basically all I got about how they work, other than somehow using a radio allows you to interact with them. So while their motives are actually pretty decent, I generally like having a better explanation for how things happen. Now, since I did miss some of the content that might have held the explanation I wanted, I will be generous and give our ghosts a 3 out of 5. I did like how they were weaved into the story, but I really would have liked a better explanation. Now, slow and steady wins the race. That's how the environment sets the tone of our story. Towards the start of the game, you'll only see 2 lights in the background. A little while later, there's a shadowy line around the 2 lights. Eventually, you'll see the bright eyes and a definite outline of the ghostly entities. And the slow reveal of the ghosts in the background isn't the only thing that slowly pops up. There's a weird time loop that takes place in the game and various parts. And slowly, as you pass through an area multiple times, it will have different items in that area. Couches will appear, TVs will appear, all kinds of different small changes. It was very well executed and really helped build the tension when the antagonists themselves were lacking. So overall, 4 out of 5. And that actually brings us to our ending summary. I really enjoyed this game overall. Final score comes to 8 out of 10. If there were a little more time for each conversation prompt, I'd actually consider playing the game on Twitch to have the chat's input while going through the game. I think it would be a fun, interactive game that way. But alas, there isn't enough time to wait for the lag in the response time between, the streamer and the chat. But oh well. This is still a game that I would suggest picking up. It was fun, it was engaging, and at times had just the right amount of creepy to keep you on your toes. All right, if you agreed with my review, leave a like, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I am actually normally on Twitch twice a week, but that will actually be on hold for a while, so I have more time to work on these story reviews, so I can hopefully start uploading them every week instead of just the first and third week of every month. So thank you everyone for sticking around here to the end, and with that, thanks for joining me here in the den, and we'll save your seat around the fire for the next story review.